Guys, what's up? It's Skill up here with another Division video. It's now 1 AM. I'm sitting in my hotel room in Los Angeles, having just come back from a Ubisoft party. I've had a few beers, so please bear with me if I am a little bit less than 100% lucid. But it was very important to me that I got out this video talking about the major news that's come out from today on the Division expansion. So we did learn the big ticket items, first of all, the release date. Now, the release date for this expansion on Xbox One is the 28th of June. Now, we kind of already knew that because that was leaked, and we also assumed that the Xbox would get it 30 days before anybody else, before PC and before PS4. Now, both of those things were actually incorrect, because it turns out that the expansion actually launched on the same day on Xbox and PC, the 28th of June, right? So that's coming to both Xbox and PC on the 28th of June, that is confirmed, and it's coming to PS4 on the 2nd of August, which is actually more than 30 days. So the reason for that is because they do their patch cycle on Tuesdays, and the 2nd of August is the first Tuesday after their 30-day agreement expires, so that's why it's going in then. So that's it. I guess I have to be upfront and saying I think it's a little bit crappy, obviously. These exclusive deals that publishers strike with console manufacturers are just bad for consumers. They're bad for players, do you know what I mean? There's no question about that. I mean, I get the commercials behind it all, but at the end of the day, it still segments our community, and what our community needs more than anything else, especially at the moment, is unity. You know, it needs like a whole group of players all enjoying this stuff at the same time. It doesn't need segmentation. So it sucks, but look, it's a way of life when it comes to this, the console business these days. It just sadly is one of the costs of doing business, and it's a shame, but it is what it is. So it's good to know though that the PC players will get this on the 28th of June. They will get their hands on it earlier. Interestingly enough, I spent like $600 purchasing an Xbox and a gold edition of the game because I thought I needed to cover it for that exclusive period. So that money is gone. But look, that was obviously just a silly thing for me to have done in the first place, so I guess it kind of serves me right. But look, that's the release date confirmed. Now, in terms of what the expansion actually is, the centerpiece of this expansion is the Underground, which it seems to be a queuable dungeon that's sort of available in the base of operations, and you basically, you know, you sort of get access to these randomly generated dungeons, right? So this is something that people have been really asking for quite a while now, and the detail around this wasn't really explained further, but it seems as though that it's procedurally generated, and at the moment it's a bit unclear whether it's sort of like one level that's procedurally generated and that's it, or if it's like multi-levels and it keeps going, such as in the case of Diablo with their Greater Rifts system, which is really, really popular, where it just keeps getting harder and harder the further you go down, and the sort of the rewards get better and better with every tier. So I'm not sure how that works yet. The fact is that, you know, we really didn't get much news out of day zero, out of the press conferences from Xbox and from Ubisoft. The detail was really light on. It was really just sort of teasers more than anything else. It was just kind of like, hey, stuff's coming, cool. So tomorrow, I actually have hands-on capture time with the Division Underground, the expansion. So I'll be able to tell you a lot more then. But for now, we're sort of just guessing what exactly all this is about. We're just hoping that it's super cool, but right now all we know is that it's procedurally generated dungeons. Now, funnily enough, we actually learnt more from the Division blog than we did from the press conference, because they actually released a blog about the same time as the press conference went live, and it covered more details. So, for instance, we know there's actually a new incursion coming in this expansion. It's called Dragon's Nest, and it takes place in Hell's Kitchen. And it's essentially fighting against the cleaners. Apparently they've found some weapon. That's a big deal, and it's our job to stop them. So we have absolutely no details on what that Dragon's Nest expansion is at this point. So that's still up in the air, but there it is. We just know that there's a new incursion on the way. We also learned something really interesting, which is that they'll be adding what's called a heroic mode to you know, challenge modes, you know, dungeons, and also to incursions. So this, funnily enough, is actually free to all players. You don't need to buy the expansion in order to get access to these. Now, this heroic difficulty is a step above challenge mode. So we're going to have hard modes, we're going to have challenge mode, and then we're going to have heroic mode. Now, I know a lot of you are listening to this and thinking, holy shit, why the hell would we want a harder tier of difficulty, right? And I totally get that, right? For the vast majority of players, there's no way that you would want this to be any harder. Like, you'd no way you want Clear Sky to be any harder, because it's hard enough to finish as it is, right? But let me tell you that there's also a really small percentage of the population that are super geared and that have really coordinated groups, and they actually find this content really simple, right? So if you've seen some videos going around where you can kind of just camp out in the middle of Clear Sky, and if you have a properly set up group and you've got the right gear, you can kind of just tank the entire instance and you don't even need to worry about any of the mechanics whatsoever. Similarly with challenge modes right now, for really geared people, like challenge mode dungeons, normal missions, they're just a cakewalk. I mean, they're very easily soloable by your very geared players. So yes, this tier of difficulty is not for everyone, absolutely. But for those players that are geared and that do want a challenge, the addition of this difficulty is actually a really good thing. And I personally am looking forward to it, because I'm someone that spends a lot of time playing this game, and I sort of have a lot of gear and I have a coordinated group, so it really benefits me. But of course, it's absolutely not going to benefit everyone. Now, the other thing that was mentioned is that there are actually going to be new story missions as well. Rephrase. There are going to be new challenge mode missions that are based on the existing story missions. We've got Queen's Tunnel and Hudson Yard, and they're going to be available in the expansion as well, and they're also going to be available to everyone, not just those that buy the DLC. The last thing that was teased was new gear sets, which are predictable. We kind of would expect that for every major content drop now. But the other thing that they mentioned was new weapon types, and they didn't say new weapons, they didn't say new name weapons, they said new weapon types. So I wonder if we might see a new category of weapon emerge. I doubt it, because I think that they're looking at balancing the current roster of weapons rather than adding new ones. But the word types was curious, but then again, I mean, it could have just been a translation thing. Who knows how exactly it's worked. But that was it. So that's everything for Underground. And the very final thing that we saw was a sneak peek of the survival update, which is coming later this year. Now, this update was sort of it sort of positions things as you're trying to survive out in the open world or the dark zone. I don't know, it's not quite clear yet, but and you have to contend with the weather. The weather appears to be a really significant mechanic. You're sort of also searching for food, so somehow food and hunger becomes a mechanic that we need to contend with as well. And then obviously there's like the normal bad guys that we need to shoot and avoid being shot by. So it was just a teaser. There was really not much there, but there was this guy, this sort of heavily armored. He looks like a rogue agent, like maybe a first wave agent. I don't know, but he looked pretty badass, and he was there, and it was cool to see that there's going to be a new enemy type, as in maybe it's just a boss, maybe it's just a named enemy that is part of the story or something, I don't know. Or hopefully it's actually an NPC that we fight quite regularly, because it would be nice to see some more NPCs added to the mix. But regardless, we don't really know anything about this. We just know it's coming. The conversation has started, and there obviously will be another update in the future. But yeah, for me personally, I mean, my main focus is actually less about like the new stuff that's being added. It's actually way more about the balance of the game, because I think that's where focus really needs to be in the next little while. Like, we need to get things like the meta under control in terms of the dark zone and the toughness and the impact of that, and the tuning of enemies in DZ 5.6 and how much damage they deal and how much that has an impact on the way that we gear, and things like shock turret and like survivor link and how potent they are in PvP encounters and all these sorts of things, and weapon balance, and all that is the stuff that I'm actually really super interested in, and that I think will, more than anything else, sort of make or break the next expansion. So I'm going to have heaps of questions about that sort of stuff tomorrow when I get my live playthrough, and I'll definitely report back to you guys on those answers if I'm lucky enough to get them. So make sure you stay tuned to this channel for all that sort of information. That's it from me, guys, live from LA. Well, not really live, I suppose. I shouldn't say that, but it's 1 in the morning here in LA, and I'm still alive, so that's something. And yeah, thanks very much for listening. If you like this video, please drop it a like, and if you're looking forward to more Division news directly from E3, please subscribe now. You'll get plenty of that. Take good care, guys, and I will see you in the dark zone. Bye bye.